We're going to take a look at Google Calendar, and this is a tool that's connected to your Google for Education account automatically. And you can get there by going to calendar.google.com, or if you click on the apps icon up here, you'll find Calendar as one of the items listed. When you go to your calendar, if you've never used it before, you won't have any entries on there, and you should have over here under My Calendars, one calendar listing that has your name on it, and that's your main calendar for school, for work. With that selected, we're just going to click and create an event. So I'll just pick an empty date here. And as soon as I click it, I get a pop-up menu, and I can choose whether I'm creating an event or a task. And tasks can have due dates assigned to them, little notes. I tend not to use those very much, but events are more commonly used. So we'll give our event a name. Okay. And I get to choose which of my calendars I want it to be a part of. So if you only have one, your name should be right there. But if you have lots of calendars, you can choose where to hook that up. So we'll leave it there. And if I just want to create it, I can do that. And it'll show up as a bar, which means it's an all-day event. Some people prefer to make everything an all-day event just so they have a calendar that keeps track of their things. But if you want to be more precise and list the specific times for your events, you don't want to do that. You want to click Edit Event. On this page, you have some options for editing, and the first one is you can extend it for more than one day, or if you uncheck the All Day box, then you get to pick times. And so I'll say this goes from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. and on the same day, so it's a 2-hour event. You can enter a location, you can add a description to it, you can give the event a specific color, and right down here is a really important section called notifications. So if you want to get reminders for your event, you can choose either email or pop-up reminders. And if you have your calendar connected to your phone or device, those will come through on your device as well. So I'll say I want an email reminder 10 minutes out, and I want a pop-up reminder maybe 30 minutes out. And you can add more notifications if you want. Maybe I want one in the morning, so I'll have a pop-up, and I'll say 2 hours before the event. So I have a reminder in the morning that this is coming. Show me as available or busy. That affects how other people can see you on the calendar if they're looking to see your schedule. So I'll say I'm going to be busy there. The visibility is the calendar default, which is set to the visibility settings of the calendar. And so we'll get into that a little bit later. If you want it to be private and nobody can see it, you can just check that. Okay, so over here on the right side, you can invite others to your event. And so they'll get notifications and they'll have the option of adding that to their calendar. So as soon as they get the notification, they can choose to attend or not. It shows up on their calendar. And if everybody's okay using that system, it's really convenient. So I could invite someone. And so I've invited one person to this event. And then also I can choose to add rooms or computer labs or things like that. And so as I look down this list, they all have green boxes next to them, which means that they are available. Right here, there's a checkbox that says show only available. So if I uncheck that, you can see that for this time frame, I can't use the Cedar Home Elementary Computer Lab Room 11 or Room 20. Those are both taken. And so is the SHS library on that day. So that's a nice way to see things. Now, just as a caveat there, it's not a sure thing that these are taken or not taken, so double check with the librarian or the office or whoever's in charge of managing that lab. Some people aren't using the online system yet, and so if there's a paper system in place, you want to double check that something isn't scheduled there. However, the purpose of this is to be able to reserve rooms. So if I were to say I'd like to take the SHS Computer Lab 601, and I can add that to the list. And there it is. And then everybody else that tries to get it will see it has a reserved mark on there, and they won't be able to take it for that time period. Okay, below that there are some permission settings for guests. So if you want to, you can allow guests to modify the event invite other people, and see who else is on the list. If I were to save this event right now, it's going to give me a warning. And it's going to say, okay, you're inviting other people to this event. Are you sure you want to send out this message? And I don't. So I'm going to say don't send. And if you did want to notify those people, you would want to send that message, obviously. So there's my event. Here it is, a training session at 9 a.m. on the 24th. And if I edit that event, I can remove people that I didn't want on there. And I can remove that reservation for the lab as well. Okay, so I'll save that and don't send. Okay. Now, under my calendars, I have a whole bunch here. We'll cover some of that in just a little bit here. But if you click on this box, you can choose not to show that. So if you have calendar things that are showing up and that you don't want to see them, just click the box and they'll disappear. They're not getting erased. They're just not displaying right now. You can also set your calendars to different colors. So if I want my work calendar to be a different color, I can choose from this list here. And if I've got birthdays showing, I could choose a different color for that one and keep them separate. So how do you get all these other calendars here? Well, some of these are coming from Google Classroom. So you can see here's an introduction to computer programming. These are linked in through Google Classroom automatically, and so all my assignments that I'm giving my students through Google Classroom show up as a Google Calendar. And I am able to see that calendar and make changes to it right from the Calendar app. So you can turn those off and not see them if you don't want to. You can also add calendars from the district to keep track of things that you may want to be aware of. And so here's how you might do that. If you go to the Stanwood Camano School District website, and on the right side you go down to calendars, you'll find the main district event calendar. And so I'm going to scroll down to the bottom, and right at the bottom there's a little icon that says Google Calendar and there's a plus button. If I click that, it's going to ask me if I want to add these different calendars to my calendar. And so I can add all of them, or I can just click a couple to add, and I don't want to add anymore, so I'm going to click close. But that's how you would get some of these on there. So for my calendar, I have my work information, and I have the SHS events one. I've got one for Port Susan Middle School as well. And so you can just kind of see different things that are showing up around the district with that. Here's the create button for creating new items on your calendar. Below that is a smaller full month calendar view, and you can tab through there to see different months. And today has a box around it. Beneath that, you've got your calendars and then other calendars. These are calendars that you have added to your account, and these are calendars that you are subscribing to. Up at the top, you've got a button for today. You've got arrows that can move back and forth between the months. And here's a view changer. So you can go just look at one day. You can look at the current week. You can look at the month view. There's a 4 days option and an agenda view, which is a running list of all the things coming up on your calendar. Under the More button, you can print the calendar or refresh it. And over here in the gears, that's the settings. So you can go here and change the spacing for the page. You can take a look at the settings tab here. And there's a lot of things that you can change, and we'll come back and get into that in a little bit.